Do you want to eliminate lust from your life? Do you want to, quit porn? Maybe quit masturbation. Maybe do you want to just be more fulfilled in your marriage or current romantic situation? Do you want to just stop feeling this uncontrollable longing for women that's just eating you up on the inside? Well, if so, then you are in the right place, because I'm going to be sharing with you the most powerful exercise that I have come across in my 12 years of helping guys quit porn and develop sexual self-mastery. Okay, like I've worked with probably thousands of people now at this point, definitely hundreds, for sure, in the one-on-one sense. Thousands have gone through my programs. Like I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen some crazy stuff. Okay. And I've always been looking for more and more effective ways to get guys to being who they want to be. Right. And lust is one of those things that gets in the way, particularly the more moral a man is. I think it's really just because the more he's aware of how much his lust affects him, and it goes against his spirituality and all of these kinds of things. And it can lead him down paths that can cause a lot of pain and, dysfunction, right? It's kind of very essential for a guy to figure out how to do this stuff, because as men, we're always going to have more sexual energy, more sexual longing, more sexual desire than we can practically act on. It's just the way it is. Even if you have a great sex life, chances are there are going to be moments where you want more. You're going to see, another woman or something else that's just going to inspire you, and it's like going to tempt you into that lustful state. Let's get into the exercise here and go gently with this, okay? Because we're going to be doing some potentially risky stuff if you are being silly. Tread carefully. Do this at your own risk. Don't blame me if you trigger yourself by accident and you relapse, okay? That's not the goal at all, but just be smart about this. So here's what I want you guys to do. First thing is I want you to imagine an ideal woman, by whatever that means for you, okay? Take a deep breath, calm down, visualize this ideal woman, okay? Keep her clothed, okay? We're not trying to trigger ourselves here, but that's what I want you to do, okay? Just picture her in your mind. And I want you to notice, what is your initial feeling, particularly in your chest? What does your chest feel like when you think of this ideal woman? For some guys, it's a nice feeling, a peaceful feeling. For some guys, they're immediately, stressed. Some guys, they're thrown, I've heard confusion come up. It kind of depends, but just notice that. Think about that. Like, okay. My ideal woman creates this kind of feeling in me. Interesting. Now, here's the tricky part. This is the part we have to be careful with. All right. I want you to grab the dial inside of you that controls your level of lust. Okay. And I want you to just turn it up a little bit. I want you to allow yourself to at least notice, kind of like, what would it feel like if I were to start allowing lust for this woman? Okay. I'm not saying blast it up to max. Okay. Because I don't want anyone doing any nasty stuff, but like, notice, watching yourself. What does it feel like when I allow lust to enter for this image of the woman? Notice the thoughts that come up. Notice how it feels in your chest, in your stomach. And if it's like most of the people who do this exercise for you, then you're going to notice that it's actually a nasty feeling. There's like this feeling of lack, of like anxiety. It's like this kind of like dark electricity, kind of like that, Jedi, like evil red, like lightning kind of shit. It doesn't feel good, actually, which is interesting, because I think, when we're acting on lust, we're usually just kind of caught up in the moment, and we're not paying attention that this stuff is gross. It doesn't actually feel like good energy. And the way that I see it is like, it is just like this dark side void. It's like this gaping maw of like longing inside of us where we're looking to consume, right? The way I see it is that, you're pursuing, like, there's an insecurity in you and you want to consume a woman's sexuality, her beauty, as like points. It's like, if I can fill up on the points, because if I can hook up with her, then that means I'm good. So I need to harvest status points off of her, or affirmation points off of her. I need to take pleasure from her to fill myself up, because I got this itchy, aching, painful hole inside of me. And that is lust. Okay? It's not like, people confuse the idea that all sexual attraction is lust, which is really sad to me, because there are many people out there who think that all sexual attraction is this energy. And that's gross and sad, but it's the way that a lot of our world operates. Notice this feeling. Come to an opinion on it. Do you like this energy? Do you want more of this energy, or do you not? Right? If you clicked on this video, chances are you want to remove this energy from your life. Now we got to do the next part of the exercise. Back to our dials internally. I want you to turn the lust dial off, okay? And just as an interesting note, notice that you could control it to begin with, right? That you could turn it on and off, right? We actually have that ability. And sometimes, like, if you want to get control of your lust, just being conscious about it, be like, okay, well, what if I turned it up? How would that feel? Oh, that's cartoonish and gross. What if I just turn it down? Okay. Like, sometimes you just got to step into the stream of awareness, and then you realize, oh, actually I have more control over this. This is actually an old NLP trick, but that's beside the point. Okay. We're turning the lust off. And what I want you to do is find your goodwill knob, your love knob. And I want you to crank that sucker up as high as you can get it. And so in this case, you're imagining your ideal woman, and you're thinking, what's the highest goodwill that I could hold for her? Okay. I want to wish her the absolute best. And let's say, in this first example, that this woman is married, happily married to another man, not you. So what would goodwill look like for her? Right? And how does it feel? That's the big thing. So you think about it. It's like, well, I want her to live a great life. I want her to be happy. I want her to be fulfilled. I want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to be fulfilled. Okay? That's what goodwill is. That's what love is. It's like wishing the best for the person. And like, well, what would that mean sexually? It's like, well, I want her, if she's married, I want her to have a great sex life with her husband. I mean, it's none of my business. I don't want to see any of it. I don't want to be involved in it, but I hope they have it. I'm not hoping that they have a dead bedroom. That wouldn't be goodwill, right? I hope they're just, happy. They maybe have good, kids and all that kind of stuff. Wish them the best. Okay? And if you can find that energy, how does that feel? Notice how that feels in your chest. It's the exact opposite of lust. Okay? And here's the big thing. It's like, you cannot hold goodwill and lust simultaneously. Doesn't work. It's like, because goodwill is a light bulb and lust is an absence of light. It's like a shadow. So it's like, imagine if you've got a simple room that's like the center of your soul, just like a bare room with a light bulb hanging in it. If you turn that light bulb on, there's no shadows. There can't be, because there's light filling it. Okay? And that's the key. You cannot have the shadow of lust while your heart is filled with goodwill. Now, can lust still creep in? Yes. How? Well, either we turn the light bulb off, we stop holding the goodwill, or there are parts that are covered inside of ourselves, right? Like we create shadows. So if we go back to that simple room of our soul, there could be shadows if we, put like a little chair with a cover on it or something, or like a little table with a cover on it. Underneath that table, where the light's not hitting it, there's going to be shadow. There's going to be darkness. And so what does that mean practically? That means that the places where we are ignoring ourselves, where we are ignoring our own desires, and we're just not showing love to our own pains, that creates a little pocket space, a little void. So say, for example, you've got a desire to be working less. You're freaking overwhelmed and you're not paying attention to it. You're just telling yourself you got to grind through. Well, guess what? It creates a little little pocket space, a little shadow. And for a lot of guys, what that means is that turns into lust. They watch porn later, to cope with their overwhelm. Or maybe, they desperately want a better relationship, but they're not paying attention to that desire. They just say, oh, no, I'm a machine right now. Or, oh, women don't like me. Or, things are irreparable with my wife or whatever. They're basically just ignoring that part that's hungry for intimacy and not willing to do the work to love that part of themselves. Creates a little pocket, creates a little shadow. Lust can flourish. And so can a lot of other dark things. I think all, dark energies follow the same formula. But for guys, lust is one of the main ways it manifests because it's essentially a built-in drug in the body, right? Like, anytime you use porn, it's like creating it's like taking a drug. So, we get addicted because it can just instantly make us feel good. And that's why we use, lust and sex and stuff like that to cope with pain and dysfunction. So, okay, let's take our exercise a step further here. This time, we want to imagine a woman, our ideal woman who is single and available and potentially good fit. And this is only really relevant for guys who are single, okay? Because, if you're not single, well then technically you're not eligible either. And so you would just go back to wishing her well and finding someone else. But say you are looking for a girl and you want to hold this goodwill, but you feel like, well, if I just wish her the best and find someone else, then I'll never be able to date a woman. I was like, no, okay? Because if you come back to that goodwill, it's like, well, actually, I think that I could make your life even better. I think I could be part of what's best for you. And so I want to give myself to you. At least simple ways at first. Maybe I'll just give you some attention. Maybe I'll invite you on a date. But the idea is that I don't need to get anything from you. Like, that's where anxiety comes from around women, is that, guys basically feel like, oh, I need to get affirmation from her. I need to get her to fill my little hole inside of me. And if I don't, well, then I feel like absolute shit. And so they're terrified. But if you're coming at it from like this place of radiance of like, hey, I'm here to share something with you. I think it could be good for you. I think we would enjoy it together. We could make something great. I like your light. You like my light. We can make an even brighter light. When you approach it from that standpoint, it all lines up. And that's what authentic, I think, aligned sexual interaction is. It's just saying that I'm going to share my sexuality with you as a gift to you. I'm not focused on just what I'm going to get out of it. I want to create an even better reality by sharing my sexuality with you. And that's love. That's loving sexuality. Okay? And this is the key. Is like when you realize that all this porn and lust and, chastity stuff, whatever angle you want to take it, it all comes back to the heart. It unlocks everything. You don't need to be a genius, okay? You don't need to be super smart to do any of this stuff. I used to think that there was like, oh, you had to do all these, mindset things. You got to do all this self-talk, and like 100% there's a place for that. There's a place for optimizing your habits, analyzing your trigger chains, like doing all these, more complicated things, okay? They have their place. But the real mechanics are just so freaking simple, right? It's kind of like that meme where you got like the guy with the misshapen head who's clearly very low IQ, and then the bell curve, and then like the nerd, like midwit in the middle, and then you got the genius like Jedi guy at the high end of super IQ. And like the low and the high IQ guys are both saying the same thing, and it's like, just love. That's it. It's going to fix it all. And you got the midwit guy being like, no, well, I got to connect with my anima, and I have to like deconstruct all of my like past wounds and blah, blah, blah. It's just like, no. Okay. You just got to love. That's what you got to do. If you can train your heart to shine the light, then it won't be creating that vacuous space of the vacuum. It won't be creating that shadow where lust thrives. That's it. Okay. So, practice that. You notice lust coming up, good for the person. That's all. And, yes, because this will come up. It's like, well, what if they're not a real person? Okay. What if they're not a real person? What if they're, an anime character or a computer animated thing? It's like, okay, think about the person who made it then. It's like, do I want to be, is it best for him if I'm enabling him to do this weird ass work? No, what do I really want for him? It's like, I don't want him to make a living or have a hobby creating sexual art that's like perverted. Okay. What I want for him is for him to find better employment. Okay. Realize, like, sometimes just realizing that it's not about whatever the heck that art is, and it's actually like some strange dude made it somewhere. That kind of snaps the illusion anyway. But if you can mix the goodwill for it, you can find that for that guy. Awesome. Now, further. All right. What if the woman wants the attention? What if she's an OnlyFans model? Well, I can see a lot of guys rationalizing, like, well, she wants it. Okay. Like, I'm helping her out. Like, she's getting money out of it. It's like, okay. This is where it's a matter of morals. Like, if you think that there's nothing wrong with living your life like that, then, we're not on the same page. I personally think that that's fundamentally devaluing and dehumanizing her. Like, her sexuality is meant for something better. It's meant for something far more beautiful and sacred than to be monetized to random strangers. Okay. I think that's messed up and sad. And so from that standpoint, it's like, well, I wish for her to find a better way of living, right? I have pity for her, and I hope that she can realize that her sexuality is worth more than this, right? I like, and that's one of the things that happens is when you start moving away from this lustful kind of living, that you realize that it's sad when you see women out there shopping for sexual attention, in a dysfunctional way. They feel insecure. They're just the flip side of the man who's looking for the porn. The same shit, right? They're both sad. They're both hurting. It's not judgment on them. It's just like, we're broken people sometimes. We're in pain. We're trying to feel better, right? But pray for that person to find a better way to feel better, right? I was just talking with one of the members in the Frontline Man community who, we did this exercise together. He was saying that, like, in the SA community, the Sexaholics Anonymous, one of the big things that some guys will do is they'll try and pray for the person that they're feeling attraction for. And it's the same idea here, all right? It's like, can we tap into that warm heart rather than that empty, aching one? So I highly recommend you guys try this. If you can make this second nature, you'll be able to quit porn. You'll be able to be faithful to your wife. And honestly, you're just going to be a lot better person in general. And I think this is the key to unlock a true spirit of aligned patriarchal power inside of yourself. Because, like, if you think about it, it's only a guy who has this kind of heart that could be in a position of power and not abuse it. Really. I think that's really the key of it, is that, like, think about any guy in history who doesn't have his heart, his morals in place, especially sexually, and he gets into a position of power. What does he do? He always fucking abuses it, right? He does something gross and nasty, and something that you wouldn't be happy about if he did it to your sister. Okay, like, that's the thing. And it's like the only way that a man, I think, can really position himself to be in that kind of like place of authority is if he can get that heart shining bright consistently. I'm not expecting anyone to be perfect, but, like, that's the game. That's the core of it all. All comes down to vibes, comes down to the heart, comes down to, living from the core. So that's what I have for you guys today. And, what you might be wondering, where the heck can I go from here? How do I apply this on a deeper level? Well, in a lot of cases, like, it's really about how you apply the love to yourself. How can you find those little places where you're creating shadows inside your heart that let lust, form? And can I remove them, right? How can I stop blocking this flow inside of myself? And so to help you with that, we've got a new quiz actually that we put together, and it just takes a few minutes to fill out, and it'll give you like a score and help you identify where in your life you're creating these shadows, where in your life you're bottlenecking your own flow of goodwill from, like, fertilizing your hopes and dreams, really. So, I highly recommend you check it out. You just click the link in the description, and yeah, I think you'll get a lot out of it. So that's what I have, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Ooh, yeah. See you on the next one.